I, 27F, accidentally had my baby in my friend's 31F car. Now she and her husband don't want to speak to me. How do I fix this? Hi everyone, going to try keep this short and sweet. Also tired, so apologies for errors. But saw people were still responding to my original post. Thank you all for taking the time to do so. It's been overwhelming but so needed, and I've tried to take your advice to heart. I saw Alice a few days ago. She came to our house unexpectedly. I actually had just gone out. My wife had to call me. This was after she had blocked me. I know a lot of you were upset with her, and a lot of you with her guy, but we're getting to it. But I was just so damn happy to see her I immediately started bawling. She did too. She apologized, so did I. We had a long conversation which I'll kinda try to summarize. Everything that happened had been a lot for her, which is so fair, and she was having a hard time processing it, but she initially didn't feel upset with me. Her husband had been furious though. He already isn't our biggest fan, so this really set him off at her as well. Don't get me wrong, I don't blame him for being upset about his car, but I do wish we had had different/better communication. He had been fuming we hadn't reached out sooner after baby was born and that my first message wasn't more apologetic. In her words, over the weeks following everything, she started to feel angry at me/us, because he convinced her to, and my messaging/reaching out then was just too much in that moment. After our silence, she realized she wasn't upset with me but the situation, and should be relieved everyone was okay, and even asked her husband to stop bringing it up as she was sick of it. We agreed we really just wanted to be okay again, though she admitted she'd have to build it up slowly, because again her husband. I also apologized again for Ev and how I wish I had done things differently. She even made a small joke that she's proud to be such a big part of her birth story, which honestly gave me more relief than anything else she said. I hope she will be okay. Don't love the guy, but I can't do more than be her friend, I think. Luckily the car isn't totaled. I was terrified of this and feel stupid for not realizing it was an option. Thank you all for pointing it out. Only the front seat where I was sitting was messed up. And TMI, my sweatpants took the worst of the mess, I guess. Car is already clean/fixed before Alice even came. He has it back and we've paid back everything. He doesn't like driving it anymore. That's all I think. Wife, baby and I are okay. She's a month old already, which is wild. I realized I do have so trauma left from the whole birth, which mostly started to hit me when I wasn't obsessing over Alice anymore, so gonna work on that. Thank you all for the love, the support, but also for helping me realize I should have done things differently. Reddit can be overwhelming, but you've helped me a lot. Edit. Thank you all for the responses. I care way too much about what y'all think though. Reddit may not be the best place for me, so gonna log off now. Thank you all loads, from the bottom of my heart. This was also my last update. I, 48F, found out my daughter, 22F, is involved in feederism online, and I don't know how to handle it. Hi everyone. I've been going back and forth about posting this because it's embarrassing and upsetting, but I genuinely don't know how to approach this situation anymore. I have 3 daughters. 22F, the one this post is about, 20F and 18F. For context, their father passed away when the girls were younger. My oldest was 16 at the time and took it especially hard. We were a very close family before that, but after his death she became more withdrawn than her sisters. She still finished school, got a job, and eventually moved out when she was about 20, so I thought she was doing okay overall. Growing up, she was always built a bit differently than her sisters. The other 2 are very athletic and slim, whereas she was always softer and not particularly sporty. She was never extremely overweight or anything like that, just a bit chubbier. It was never something we made a big issue about. After she moved out 2 years ago, I noticed she started gaining quite a lot of weight fairly quickly. Around that same time she also became more distant with me. My other daughters talked to me constantly about their lives, friends, uni, relationships, etc. But my oldest became very private. She would mostly only video call rather than come over, and visits became rare. The first time I saw her in person after a while was Christmas 2 years ago. I immediately noticed she had gained a significant amount of weight since moving out, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to embarrass her or make her feel judged. Over the last 2 years the weight gain has continued, and become much more extreme. I was concerned but kept telling myself she's an adult, and it's not my place to comment on her body. Then about 6 months ago something happened that completely blindsided me. My 20-year-old daughter came to me very upset because she had found some of her older sister's online accounts. Apparently my oldest daughter has been posting content related to something called feederism. From what I understand, it's a fetish where people pay someone to eat large amounts of food and gain weight. I had never even heard of this before, and I honestly felt sick when I realized what it was. My younger daughters begged me not to confront her because they didn't want to create more drama, but by that point I felt like I couldn't just pretend I didn't know. When I brought it up with my oldest daughter, she was furious that we had found the pages. After a very tense conversation, she admitted it was true and said she makes good money from it. She basically told me that she's an adult, it's her body, and this is how she's paying for her rent and lifestyle right now. I tried to tell her that my concern is coming from a place of love and worry for her health. Watching your child intentionally gain weight for strangers on the internet is not something I ever imagined dealing with as a parent. She accused me of judging her and trying to control her life. The conversation ended badly, and since then things between us have been very strained. What makes this harder is that we were once very close. I miss having a relationship with her, and I hate that this situation has created such a huge distance between us. Part of me also wonders if this could somehow be connected to losing her father when she was 16. I know grief can affect people in complicated ways, but I don't know if I'm overthinking that. I'm trying to figure out how to support her without pretending I'm not worried. I don't want to shame her or push her further away, but at the same time I feel like ignoring this completely isn't right either. Has anyone dealt with something like this with an adult child? How do you approach a situation where you're concerned about their well-being, but they insist it's their choice? My dad, 60M, hid a mistress, 48F, and a fourth child, 16F, for 16 years, even 7 years after my mom passed away. Now I feel like I'm grieving someone who is still alive, and 3 of us as birth kids of my mom, 33F, 29M, 21F, are processing together. I'm struggling to process something that just came out in my family. My dad, 60M, recently had a stroke with one arm being paralyzed, and he's going through medication and physiotherapy. Because my siblings, 29M and 21F, and I, 33F, all live abroad and our mom passed away 7 years ago, relatives and neighbors believed he was completely alone and that no one was taking care of him. During this time, the truth finally came out. He confessed to my aunt. Then my aunt pushed him to tell us by himself and told me parallelly that for the past 16 years he has had a mistress and a 16-year-old son with her. They even have an apartment together. The boy looks exactly like him. Our legal family lived in one city. He worked in another city far away. That's where he had his mistress and their son, and can manage time between 2 families. Our legal family every weekend, and his separate family for most parts of the week. They had him while I was living with my dad due to my high school, which is unbelievable how he could do it. My dad hasn't told us yet. All of this was told to me by my aunt. I have communicated this with my siblings, and we are processing together and prepared for when my dad has enough courage and health to confess. My brother was having some frozen time hearing ABT this. He asked for a lot of pauses during the discussion while my sister was raging and crying. I also cried a lot, but my job is to make sure we stick together and get through this. My mom passed away 7 years ago when she was 51, so she's 10 years older than the mistress. While she was alive, she sometimes suspected he had another family, and she was really trying to find evidences, but she couldn't. I know she loved him till last breath. He always denied it and told her she was just being jealous or paranoid. He even swore that she was the one and only woman in his life. My mom told me he brought her STD since first years of marriage, and he cheated on her probably multiple times until the other kid arrived between him and his mistress by 17th years of their marriage. My aunt was saying it's the only woman we know ABT in his life, and we never know how many he would have had. At one point, he even made me help clear his image in front of relatives and neighbors, and say that he had no other children. He said I should do this in front of my mother's altar, and I did it. Looking back, I feel sick thinking about it. Around the same time this other child was born, everything in my dad's life started falling apart financially and health-wise as well. He started 2 businesses that both ended up in heavy debt. He gradually stopped supporting our family, or do minimum. Apparently it's because he has another family to support. My mom had to work extra to support my siblings until she was too weak to carry on due to terminal cancer. I became financially independent after my first year of college, which is like 14 years ago. As I was strawberry picking in the summer during college and working in corporate at the moment, and for the past 6 to 7 years I've also helped support my siblings. After my mom passed away, I helped pay for their bachelor's and master's degrees. Siblings and I live in same continent, and for us we always struggle and think about how to fulfill our filial duty, when to move back home, who can come to him in which time, or how to move him closer to us. Especially me, as I'm the oldest and the country where I'm based is favored by all of us. Meanwhile, my dad kept asking me for money due to his failed business pressures. I gave him total 8 years of my savings, which is only possible when I started in a new country just right before my mom passed away with good salary, because he kept insisting he would repay me after selling some real estate investments. That repayment has never happened. My brother had to give him money too behind my back, as my dad told him not to tell me. In total it's 10 years of our hard saving. We work hard and had minimum spending. Now I realize he was living a perfect double life the entire time. What's confusing is how I feel right now. It feels like a funeral inside my heart, even though he's still alive. I'm not only grieving my mom and her misery for dying without knowing full truth, and being blamed for her correct sixth sense. I feel like I'm grieving the father I thought I had. Has anyone else experienced something like this? How do you even process betrayal this deep? Why my dad did it? How to support my siblings better?